Nothing. Okay, so let's start with today's event. You guys excited? Okay, so it was a lovely evening yesterday, and I'm sure it's going to be an even better day today. Let's start today's session uh, with a speech by Mr. Manish Diwan, the head of strategic partnerships and entrepreneurship development at Biotech. Dr. Diwan aims to nurture and empower the biotech innovation ecosystem in India. An ardent supporter of startups across the value chain, he provides resources that facilitate ideation and commercialization of translational research centers and address unmet needs in healthcare, medical devices, industrial biotech, and related areas through the development of globally competitive, innovative products and technologies. So here's Dr. Devan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ritika. Glad to participate and congratulations to all of you to put together the second edition of Darwin. Can I share my screen to make a presentation?
Absolutely, sir.
All right. Let me know if it is visible to you.
It's visible, sir.
All right, great. Great. Thank you. So I've been asked to put together a presentation and sharing of information regarding biotech startup ecosystem and how Biotech has been facilitating it. I am Manish Diwan, happy to represent Biotech for this activity. Uh, so we will be together for about 45 minutes or so, and I will give you an overview what the biotech ecosystem in the country looks like and how the startups are building up, and that's a large foray which is coming in being to address the unmet need and the gaps. So where are we today? Uh, we have in country about 600 plus core biotech companies. There are 3,500 plus biotech startups, more than 200 biotech products which are available in the market. Just like BioRiddle, there are 100 plus biotech incubators, about 170 additional tech incubators, which are also associated in one way or the other, and large number of institutions, biotech teaching as well as biotech research. India stands 12th in globe in the biotech and third in the Asia. We are the largest manufacturing country for vaccines as well as for the pharma world. And you might not know that in many countries there is no dedicated department of biotechnology or strong research institutions, but India has one. Uh, India clocked 62.5 billion as bioeconomy in 2019, and this we are anticipating to grow to 150 by 24-25.
Sir, you're on mute.
Was I mute throughout or just got muted?
You just got mute.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So there is opportunity where a translation of knowledge can be converted into products and technologies. Uh, while US innovates for 10% of the world, can India innovate for rest of the world? Let's see. We know that India is pharmacy of the world. Every third and fourth tablet in US and UK pharmacy shelves is produced by Indian companies. But still, India imports about 70 to 80% of its medical devices. Uh, India is largest producer of vaccine, and every third child gets immunized by vaccines produced by Indian companies. Yet we have very limited mark in the new drug discovery. We are agriculture nation, but the technology adoption at the last mile is not enough. We have one-sixth of the population of the world, but a large number of that lives in low resource settings. We have limited resources, but we are high on talent. And India is known for its frugal innovation, which is affordable yet competitive. So there is potential and there is a spark that we could see in the COVID pandemic days. We saw that there was suddenly a culmination of about 1,000 plus proposals from entrepreneurs, startups, scholars, scientists, and industries, which reached out to BIREC for facilitation, for funding support, for regulatory guidance support, and for reaching out to the right kind of stakeholders for deployment of their solutions. Many startups pivoted to convert and bring out solutions which can address the COVID requirements. These included low-tech solutions like coveralls, masks, shields, thermal scanners, remote monitoring, sanitizers, oxygen generators, but also, and some of these were, for example, uh, wireless stethoscope, uh, respiratory aids which can aspire salivation automatically, so that the danger of ventilator associated pneumonia and HAPS can be reduced. Monitoring of babies, monitoring of pregnant mothers, solutions like uh, defibrillator, which could work without electricity, uh, cranked by hand, but yet can deliver the same kind of defibrillation effect. So there were a whole lot of such solutions which were supported and facilitated by BIREC in very short amount of time. The longer gestation period solutions like indigenous diagnostic kits, uh, which we now know at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, we used to send samples for confirmation outside the country. And we quickly moved into being in about in about just 3 months or 100 days with indigenized diagnostic kits. Now the diagnostic kits are available in India. 5 lakh diagnostic kits are made per day in India. And we are not only using it for Indian population, but exporting as well. N95 masks, for instance, we were net importers in the beginning of March, but now we are exporting N95 masks to many countries. There are repurposed drugs, vaccines, new therapeutics, which are also under development. So there was a lot of movement and very quick deployment of solutions like this for addressing the COVID requirements. Why did it happen? I believe that because we had an ecosystem which supported innovation, which supported translation of such knowledge into products and commercialization. So that ecosystem quickly pivoted and responded to such solutions. So put together, if we look at the whole biotech ecosystem and all the partnering incubator network, we saw 125 solutions that were developed by startups for COVID that quickly came into the market in this short amount of period. The bioincubators also facilitated all the incubating startups in as many ways as possible. So that's a very strong network and very strong uh, ecosystem which can be banked upon, and there are now expectations not only from India but across the countries that in India, can it emerge as an innovation hub? Can it become biomanufacturing facility, biomanufacturing hub for the word. So as we say that ideas have power. Ideas can live longer than nations, and it can live long and for perennial times. So an idea which is bundled up with the right team strength, technical doability, correct value proposition that differentiates from the existing solutions, and addressing the right unmet need with a commercial potential. Our Honorable Prime Minister also has emphasized that uh, the startup technology and innovations are exciting and effective instruments for India's transformation in future. Biotech is one central enabling agency, which is not for profit. It's Government of India enterprise, and it is carved out from Department of Biotechnology under Ministry of Science and Technology. While DBT supports the R&D activity, BIREC has been mandated and given a task to support translation research and development of such knowledge into products and technologies. So we support startups, entrepreneurs, medium and large scale companies to facilitate high risk innovations, to develop innovative, affordable products and technologies to address unmet needs. And we do that across the biotech sector, which includes healthcare, life sciences, wellness, industrial biotechnology, agriculture and allied areas, waste to value, sanitation, clean energy, uh, and associated activities. And the BIREC provides its a funding agency, but it additionally and more importantly provides all the enabling features which a entrepreneur, a startup, medium or large scale company would require to excel and translate its knowledge into products and technologies. I'll give you some examples. So as a enabler and a driver of the ecosystem, BIREC has been able to set up an innovation and startup ecosystem in the country over past 8 years. We have been able to create provisions for funding, for nurturing entrepreneurship, effective institutional policies, institutional network like bioincubators, uh, emerging and continuously training and evolving human resources, providing access for mentorship, uh, technical technical trainings, strategic partnerships, and know-how on the technology management. So BIREC supports the power of ideas from ideation to proof of concept to piloting, early stage development, and late stage manufacturing as well as validation before it reaches to the market. So it it handholds all the development from across the value chain, from an for an individual as well as to the large industries, and it also integrates at policy level so that at the umbrella level for the country, it can reflect the right policies and this um, and an environment that can facilitate the ecosystem. So we do this. The facilitation is done by customization of various schemes and programs that are aligned with the stage of development of an idea from at different stages, idea to proof of concept. For example, the early schemes like Biotech Ignition Grant, Sitare, eYuva, SIP, the faculty entrepreneurship is supported by PACE, AIR, whereas industry participation, including phase 3 clinical trials, are supported through BIPP and other schemes. And as you would have seen the bio riddle. It's one of the bionest bioincubators. So that provides the nurturing ground for breeding these ideas. All these efforts, and many of uh, startups, entrepreneurs are like you, who have been able to convert their ideas into tangible products, and these are now in market. This is just one glimpse of such a product portfolio. We've been able to create infrastructure for the incubation facilities with access to high-end instrumentation to individuals and startups, and these are have been created to cater to various domains. Some of these incubation centers are theme centric, for example, medical device only, but while others offer more than one disciplines to the incubatees and associated startups. So in the country, if you look on the left hand side, the red dots on the India's map reflect the incubation centers which have been created and facilitated by BIRAC, and we are adding 10 incubators per year, so as to cover even the uncovered areas where you don't see red dots at present. You could see Riddle. BioRiddle is also one of the incubators which have been supported in the list. So there are 50 such incubators in the country, and we've been able to create 7 geographical clusters, soft clusters, infused technology transfer offices, and various other facilitation. Now, if you look at and you try to map the presence of startups, biotech startups in the country, it almost reflects that it mirrors the BioNest incubator network. This data is from 2017, when we had about 1,700 biotech startups in the country. Now, if you look at 2 years later, you see about twofold increase in the number of startups, and again it overlaps, and these bubbles stay in the place. We are now trying to see that our uh, these startup network kind of disseminates as well as integrates from other biotech clusters, and will create new biotech clusters, so that the other regions, tier 2, tier 3 cities of the country, can also get equally benefited. So where do these what kind of entrepreneur startups uh, undertake such challenging journeys? We have scholars, engineers, whom we give opportunities to become immersion fellows. They spend about few months in the hospital setting, just to observe what are the pain points a clinician, a hospital, and a medical network is going through. Once they identify and relate the pain point, and identify a solution which is viable, which is tangible to address that pain point, then they are given grants so that they can convert their ideas into proof of concept. These are some successful examples which have emerged out of this immersion programs. For example, uh, we all remember and perhaps would have gone, put a white plaster of Paris cast in whenever we had fractures or ligament injuries. Now imagine that those casts, when in summers, especially when we were sweaty, we get itchy, right? Imagine those casts can be made perforated, airy, and you can actually wash them, and it can come in neon colors to match your no, you can take it off and you can put it up, and you can match with the dresses, etc. So just going a little forward, but such kind of solution, at least it is already there in the market, and it has been deployed, which has emerged from one of the immersion programs. I won't go in details in all, but all of them have been able to create solutions. I'll just give you one more example though. This particular solution is a newborn resuscitation device. Typically, when the newborn is born, and the doctor and the caregiver is holding baby, and the baby requires is not breathing and requires facilitation. Now the hands of the caregiver is already occupied, and it would require to fit the the oxygen device right at the appropriate place with the right pressure. So this foot operated newborn resuscitation device frees up one of the important hands of the caregiver so that the entire attention can be given to the baby. Uh, Scientists from research institutions have been turned to entrepreneurs. Uh, this particular example is from Pandorum. They are 3D printing liver and cornea cells, and their startup have reached a valuation of more than 100 crores now. Scientists, industry leaders, after spending several years in the industry, in the corporate world, gaining the right expertise, gaining the right exposure, how to develop and commercialize, come back and have taken entrepreneurial journey. And these are some examples. This is one of the defibrillators that I was talking about. Defibrillators that can work without electricity. Imagine you have high-end instrumentation at primary healthcare center, but there is no electricity to operate them, and patients can suffer because of these low resource setting. So this hand cranked defibrillator uh, that can work even in ambulance, outside, in the emergency situation when you do not have an access to the electricity. Surgeons, medical professionals turned entrepreneurs. Example, uh, uh, Dr. Pawan Mehrotra has created Arna Biomedical. He has brought a solution, artificial breast prosthetics for patients who lose their breast after the cancer therapy. So previously only imported provisions were available in the country. So he has made a similar quality, yet affordable alternative for the benefit and availment of large of people who also have the right of dignity and can avail such facility. Dr. Vishal Rao from Innovation, he's been famous as a Om person. He has created $1 Om device that is able to bring back the voice of cancer patients whose voice box has been removed. Imagine a cancer patient who has survived cancer but is unable to speak for 10, 15 years or for the entire rest of his life because his or her voice box has been removed. So a simple device, the picture is not there, but a simple $1 device can is able to bring the voice of such persons. I think that is the innovation, and that's the impact in the social sector too. So these are like this. There are several examples. Uh, Pirate has facilitated startup nurturing by creating an array of funding opportunities for young entrepreneurs, startups, from pre-incubation stage with fellowships, grants, structured grant like ignition grants. Then there are equity schemes. As I told, for faculty entrepreneurs, we also have similar schemes, and integrating public-private partnership, equity funding. So various models of funding has been created from few $1,000s to about $1 million per startup in depending upon the stage of the startup development. Since there are a number of students who are attending this conference, I would give you a couple of examples which can relate to you better. The Biotech Ignition Grant invests and promotes innovative ideas. It provides 50 lakh rupees as a funding support, granting aid for 18 months so that you can take your idea into proof of concept. It provides access to equipment, consumables, manpower that you can hire. Access to incubation centers provides creates provisions that you can pay the incubation rental, travel, as well as outsources. Everything that a typical entrepreneur, individual entrepreneur, or a young startup would need to build their ideas. Throughout the schemes, we provide hand holding, access to mentorship, that can be group mentorship in workshops or one-on-one mentorship, uh, opportunity to raise funds, peer-to-peer learning, and build relations and network. There are regulatory guidance, regulatory workshops, IP workshops, business mentoring workshops. As I said, it can happen both group as well as one-on-one. There are evangelization workshops and happen across the country and across the breadth of the subject matter, training, even grant writing, hackathons, as well as challenges, covering and reaching out to masses so that more number of people can get benefited. From BIG one program alone, if you look at, there are 550 plus entrepreneurs, startups that have been supported, and we are now looking at least 50 products that have reached into the market through the BIG grantees only. And you can imagine there are more other schemes and more number of grantees and beneficiaries which have been doing phenomenally well. All these are competitive and at national level. So you basically, every applicant basically competes with the fellow applicant. So these are highly competitive and curated applications that can come through. Some examples of products that have reached in the market through big home I was mentioning a few minutes back is looks like this. This is the $1 device. This is the breast prosthetics we just spoke about. These are new varieties of orchid which have been named after Birac by one of the beneficiaries from Northeast. There are deep tech solutions. There are softer solutions, but solutions, all such solutions are addressing the unmet need. And you can see that these are for address, these fall under different categories, from agri, from to medical devices, for animal husbandry, uh, even prosthetics. So there is a variety of integration of the sciences for the biotech domain in translation to address the unmet needs here. Some of uh, such startups which have reached at global levels, winning awards and accolades, are mentioned here. But that's just a glimpse of it. That's a large number of such startups which have done phenomenally well, and many more startups are in the pipeline which are emerging as stars in the going forward. You could see that the applications of or BIG aspirants, they are from all across the country, from far east to far west, north to south, all across the country, reaching from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities equally. There are startups as well as individual entrepreneurs who get facilitated, both men, women together, and across these different themes. You could also, through this effort, there are several women founders, co-founders, which have been facilitated, and each one of them, at the bottom of their pictures is reflecting the name of their startups, and they're doing well. So as a umbrella activity, there is a focused focused effort to create a pipeline of incubatees, entrepreneurs across the country uh, through various programs and facilitating them to converge and take their ideas to nurture in the breeding grounds of incubation centers. Uh, Sitare and e-Yuva are two early stage schemes which promotes and facilitates UG students and masters and PhD students. For Sitare, we have provisions uh, which provide 3 to 4 weeks of workshops, orientation, excuse me, for the biotech entrepreneurship, and top 10 from each of these workshops are felicitated, and they get felicitation by our honorable president, vice president, or honorable minister of science and technology, and dignitaries. EUVA is a incubation and pre-incubation stage where masters and PhD students, scholars can gain strength from this. Currently, Sitare Gayati Awards are open, and the last date has been extended until 31st of December. Maybe some of you might want to avail that opportunity. In particular, students who are pursuing their masters and PhD in any discipline, but their product should have a commercial potential going forward in future. So such scholars can avail Sitare Gayati Awards and compete. Across different facilitations, there are concentrated efforts for entrepreneurship development. We just saw EUA centers is one. BioNest is the incubation centers, business mentoring from Ignite. We send startups to University of Cambridge, UK every year to participate in Ignite workshops, and network of investors like TAI and on startup investors. We get we engage with them to provide that access to our startups and entrepreneurs. So this mentorship and capacity building is not only restricted to India alone. Uh, through four of our biotech regional centers, BRIC, BREC, BRBC, BRTC, but we also engage at international level, and these entrepreneurs, startups do get exposure at international platforms, be it competitive or non-competitive, to become globally aware of the competition as well as align their activities accordingly. Regulatory facilitation is also provided, and engaging the regulators with startups, entrepreneurs on one-on-one basis, peer-to-peer learning, access to investors, industry connect through uh, annual, biannual programs that provide a platform for not only startups but also to incubators. We also take conscious make conscious effort to build incubator to incubator connect and to adopt best practices from across the ecosystems, be it in India and outside. Some programs outside the regular schemes are also created to facilitate. Winners Award is one such program which uh, recognizes women entrepreneurs as well as facilitate them. So there are already 3 editions of such activity have gone through. BIREC as a central agency also sits and has a distinct advantage that it can connect people, connect agencies, connect departments, be it government departments, ministries, NGOs, public, private organizations, philanthropic organizations. A strategic partnership portfolio and access becomes available to individual entrepreneur, individual startup. Imagine such a large strength is made available. BIREC itself has more than about 1,000 a pool of 1000 mentors, which cater and supports this particular ecosystem. So each of this strength is available to all the entrepreneur startups in the country. We integrate efforts, as I said earlier, across different countries, and bring this access to all the ecosystem players, participants, to build the global exposure as well as expertise uh, throughout the year. And sometimes we bring the whole world to India, like Global Bio India is one example, which created a platform where outside India other countries can participate and see the growing network and growing strength of the biotech ecosystem. Global Bio India's next edition is likely to come in the early next year, where we can look at exciting days and exciting networking. A dedicated Biotech Showcase e-portal has been created for biotech startups which are been now in the market, and this can be looked at even remotely at this website, biotech-solutions.com. BIREC hosts a Make in India facilitation cell, as in which is a national mission in the BIREC premises only. Through Make in India facilitation cell, there are policy initiatives, integration at larger level, rollout of professional reports, uh, mapping India's bioeconomy year on year, and mm, and creating opportunities for national and international showcasing. All these reports and all these provisions are available are available in the public domain at the BIREX website. Can be easily accessed. So, in a when we look at this innovation and talent, these are resources which are getting tapped through the knowledge storehouses, which are research institutions and across the country. So our most of our incubators are provided and have been created in context with such thriving ecosystem where academic know-how is available, the knowledge that generates through these knowledge areas and sitting between industry as well as academia. So 37 out of 50 incubators are placed in academic campuses. This particular the startup ecosystem has emerged as a right bridge between knowledge transfer from academia to industry, and the culmination of research into tangible products and technologies. Provided with the right platform for early stage validation and manufacturing through technology clusters, we will be able to siphon out large number of such innovations in very short amount of time. As I mentioned that in the country we are now about 3,500 plus startups. Going forward in next 4 5 years, we are seeing that these numbers would scale to about 10,000. And this network will certainly grow and pan out and cover most part of the India and integrate not only with the different parts of the India, tier 2, tier 3 cities with the mature clusters, but would serve as a platform to connect ecosystem across the countries. So my last suggestion is that and that if you would like to change the world, have a power of idea, be the change, as Mahatma Gandhi ji himself said, that be the change that you want to see in the world. So begin from that note. And no idea is small, no idea is humble, but the translation and conversion of that idea, right manifestation, given the provisions and opportunities, it can be curated and it can be iterated to fit and address an unmet need. So I think, yeah, that's my last slide. Most of the information, in fact, all the information that I have mentioned and shared with the participants and the audience here, you can reach out at Birec's website. There are scheme guidelines given on the website, individual schemes, so you can look at those. And in case you have any queries, you can also reach out to BIRAG. In If there is queries related to a scheme, you can write to the specific officer. We'll be very happy to come back and revert to you. Thank you very much, and uh, enjoy the uh, next sessions of Darwin, and have a great day. Thank you so much for the organizers, and I must congratulate all of you for putting up such a nice platform for the growing biotech ecosystem. Thank you. Over to you, Ritika.
That was something. That presentation was truly something. Um, Thank you, sir, for your inspiring speech, for the very informative statistics, and the constant support that you've provided to Darwin throughout our journey. Thank you so much for coming today and giving us the chance to witness this. Thank you so much, sir. And just in case somebody missed this, which they hopefully did not, I'll repeat the announcement that I made in the beginning. Our partners in the respective different countries, they will replay this session according to their respective time zones. So, and these timings will be relayed to you via mail. So please be patient and we'll be able to have a great day and everyone will be able to be a part of it hopefully. Okay, so next up we have so um, I'm sure you guys must have seen the many collaborating biolabs on our Instagram profile. And in case you haven't, please do because without their support, we would not have been here. And in case you missed Bioriddle's inauguration yesterday, please go to bioriddle.org and see the amazing video, the amazing site that is constructed for all our bio enthusiasts here. But coming back here, let's start with the Biodesign, our constant supporter. Biodesign is a biolab. Excuse me. I'm so sorry for the network issues. It's like I said yesterday, a pain, and I'm going to say it every day until the last day that it's going to be an absolute pain. So, Biodesign is a lab based in Chile, South America, and it explores all the possibilities that appear when biology meets design. These two classic fields of knowledge have been interacting with each other for decades, but nowadays their own boundaries have been blurred for interdisciplinary research and development. So, due to some issues, we are going to have to delay this session. I just wanted to give an introduction to let you know what comes up next. So now we have polls planned for you, and they will be displayed. Okay, we have feedback in progress. Hmm. I see them increasing 80%, 80%, 80%, 77. Oh, it dipped. Guys, it dipped. 75, 74. Oh, it keeps increasing now. increased again. Oh, that was something. That was truly something. Okay, okay. No more polls. We're done for now. Again. Oh, 100. Straight up. Okay, guys, I truly love your enthusiasm. It kind of makes my morning like 5 times better. It's so amazing to see all these responses. Okay, so the biolab that I introduced, we will have Alejandro Sofia talking about his biolab, and over to you. Hi, Alejandro.
How are you? Hello.
I'm good. How are you? How's the day been so far?
Very sleepy because it's 2 o'clock in the morning here.
It's the time. I truly wish we all could have been here in one place together attending this event instead of like someone getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning and somebody staying up until 2 in the night.
It's part of the game. Don't worry.
Definitely. Okay. You may continue with the talk.
Okay, I will share my screen. Then it's okay. Can you see the presentation? Um, okay. Are you hearing me? Is this okay? Okay. I hope everything's going well. I'm going to start then.